Draw to the end of the month of May and head into June, I have a few things that I want you to think about. What is your level of commitment to whatever it is that you're doing, to whatever it is that you're passionate about, to the people in your life? Let me tell you something. You'll never ever go further than your level of commitment. This week in my power and a half hour calls, I profiled two people that had an extreme level of commitment. The first person that I profiled was Conor McGregor. And let me tell you something. This guy at an early age knew that he always wanted to become a fighter, and he worked extremely hard at it. Now, I'm not sure if know who Conor McGregor is. He's probably the most well-known MMA fighter in the world, and let me tell you, Conor, at the age of 16 or 17, he started working an apprentice job while he was still training to be a fighter. And one day, you know what? He decided that he just didn't want to do the apprentice plumbing job anymore. And things gotten so bad because he had so much pressure on him to get a regular job through society from his parents and whatnot, to continue his plumbing job, that he would literally get into fist fights with his dad. His dad would wake him up in the mornings to go on this apprentice job as a plumber, and he would tell his dad he's not doing it. And his dad would like literally hit him in the head with his fist, and they would literally get into fist fights every single morning. But this guy was just so determined that he was going to become an MMA fighter, and he knew that he did not want to become a plumber for the rest of his life. And he would fight for probably a little bit less than $150 a fight. This guy lived off of less than 1,700 US dollars a year. Not for 1 year, not for 2 years, not for 3 years, for 5 years. For 5 years, this man lived off of $1,700 a year. He lived off of welfare. Okay? That's how rough things were. And many of us probably couldn't go 1 month with just $1,700, right? This guy lived off of that for a year, and not just for 1 year. He did this for 5 years. If you gave me $1,700 to live off of for 1 month, it would be a pretty rough month for me, and I'm sure for many other people. But this guy was just so determined to do whatever it was that he decided that he was going to do, that he realized that that was his only option, and that's what he had to do. And he did it for 5 years until he got an opportunity, till he got an opening. And once he got that opening, he took advantage of it, and he did not look back. And let me tell you something. Because of his hard work, because of his training, even when times were rough, because of his belief in himself, he is now worth over $20 million. And probably once he fights Floyd Mayweather, he's going to at least double, possibly triple his net worth. Okay? So, I mean, when I see guys like that and I see their level of commitment, I realize the level of commitment that you have to have in order to take whatever it is that you want to do to the next level. Now, it is available for all of us. Any single one of us can do it, but we just have to make up our mind and just really commit to it. Another person that I profiled in the power and a half hour call for this week is a man named Brian Koppleman. And, he was a record executive and got to the age of 30 and realized that, what, he was unhappy with his life and he wanted to do something completely different. And he came up with the idea to write a movie about poker players. And this guy was so determined that him and his best friend, he asked his wife, and she decided to clear out a space in a little attic a little room, a little small room that they had in downstairs below their apartment. And him and his buddy committed to writing a movie for 2 hours every single day, 6 days a week, and they didn't take any days off until they were finished with the movie. 6 days a week, they worked every single day except for Sunday, right? When most people would probably rather those 2 hours to stay in their bed and get a little bit of extra sleep before they went to work. This guy was super committed to writing this movie, that he would get up 2 hours early every single morning and work on the movie in a little small, probably a 4x4 space, because he said that the space was so small that they couldn't even have two chairs in there. So his buddy would sit on the chair at the typewriter, and he would sit on the floor, and they would work on that movie every single day, 6 days a week, every day until they finish that movie. And that just shows the level of commitment that you need to have in order to take whatever it is that you're trying to do to the next level. You don't necessarily have to be the greatest at it. You'll learn as you go along the way, but you have to be committed, because here's the thing. If Conor McGregor said, you know what, I'm going to practice for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then, you know what, let me go and work for a few more weeks, or let me go do something else, or let me not take this seriously, he wouldn't be at the level where he's at right now. If Brian Koppleman said, you know what, I'll get up, he got up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it comes Thursday, like, you know what, let me sleep in a little bit today. Friday comes, let me sleep in. Saturday, oh, it's the weekend. I can't work on the weekend. Let me take off Saturday. Then he wouldn't be where he's at today. So that's the question that I want to ask yourself. I want you to ask yourself, what is your level of commitment to whatever it is that you're doing? And I can promise you this. Once you develop a strong level of commitment to whatever it is that you decide to do, and truly commit to it and work on that thing, however, if it's every day, or however much you commit to work on it, I guarantee you that you will get to your ultimate destination. All right? Thank you much, and until next week.